All right, peace, power, and love is always in greeting. I'm your brother Melvin Siri Jr., and welcome to the Big Picture. If you are liking the content, I appreciate you giving it the thumbs up, um, share it, and I appreciate those who have subscribed. I enjoy bringing this content to the forefront. I think it's something, that we all need to know. And I also think that we can all learn something from one another as opposed to being divisive amongst one another. And that's why I get on here and do what I do. Been doing this for a while on Facebook. Actually, had another platform on Blog Talk. Decided to give YouTube a shot. Just like I say, trying to reach as many people that can be reached. Uh, we need each other. Let me go on and throw that in. That's my main goal is just to get us to realize that you know, we're not one another's enemy. I can't hate my brother and love myself. I can't hate my sister and love myself. That's coonery. Uh, but uh, I appreciate those of you who have subscribed. I appreciate activatemedia.org who replays my broadcast on Friday. Uh, that's out of Boston, Massachusetts at 9 p.m. And that's activatemedia.org. Been doing that for a little over a year now, and I appreciate that opportunity and appreciate the listening family there in Boston as well. Um, I wanted to talk about the village. I always refer to the village. And to me, the village um, symbolizes a few things. Um, and I really strongly, truly believe that by getting back to the village mentality, we can once again prosper collectively, um, just by going back to our roots and going back to some of our uh, cultural ways. I always say this: we are a cultural, richly cultural, and richly historical people. We just had our history distorted and hidden and whitewashed and everything else that the devil could do to try to hide our true identity. And, in the midst of all of that, we have lost our cultural connection. See, we are a tribal people. Um, and I've known this for, ever since I was a young boy that I had Indian in my family. My grandmother, on my grandmother's side, my mom's mother, and her mother, and my great great grandmother. So I knew that there was Native American connection in my family, and I follow a brother Dane Calloway on the YouTube channel here, and he brings a lot of that to the forefront, which really just reinforced what I knew growing up. Not all of us came here on the slave ship. Uh, and this young brother has really put in the work and done the research to reconnect us with our heritage, and who some of us truly are. Because not all of us, like I say, came here from Africa. Some of us have been here for centuries. And this is why I say that we need to get back to our culture, our history, and rebuild the village for today's times. Like I said in the beginning, we need each other, and that's just something that I try to throw in every week, every video that I do, every live that I do. I try to throw that in to subliminally hope that we will realize our need for one another and stop being so uh, individual minded. Collectively, we're stronger. We have the intellect to do any and everything that we set our minds to do. That comes from our elders and our ancestors who were very resilient people and had to be in order for us to be sitting here in this present day and time. You know, they recognize their need for one another as opposed to their individual needs. And this is why I say integration really did hurt us. And I haven't always felt that way. I actually used to think that integration was a good thing, but the older that I have gotten and the more that I have read and studied, yeah, integration was very detrimental because what integration did was destroy the village because there was no longer use for the things that were in within the village. We ventured outside the village to do our business as opposed to before integration, I mean segregation, we were forced to do business amongst one another, which was a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. You know, if you think about it, because everything that we had stayed within the community. It didn't venture outside the community. We were able to be more helpful towards one another. You know, one thing I do give the elders and the ancestors, they got it right. They were more of a selfless people as opposed to the selfishness that we see today within the village. The family unit was stronger within the village because you just think within the village you had elders. So if you were having family problems, you had your elders that you could refer to for knowledge and wisdom and the proper intellect to handle whatever situation within the family might happen. And we all know because those of us who have been married and we all, well, not all, but those of us who have kids, we all understand family and the sacrifices that you have to make, and then the times that you just may not have it, you know. Uh, but we thrived amongst one another as opposed to our sinking with this individual minded thinking that we have now. You know, uh, and I did say we were forced, to be segregated. And it was beautiful. And the reason I said it was beautiful is because of those reasons that I just stated, and even more. You know, uh, our children wasn't killing each other when the village was strong. And this is why I say we got to reconnect to the village mentality, our culture, and get away from this devil's way of thinking and rebuild our families, uh, which makes our community stronger, like our elders were able to do, our ancestors were able to do, even though, the hate filled devil would always come through and destroy it, they were still able to accomplish it through selflessness. And we've got to really, like I say, get back to family and community, uh, and loving one another, checking on our neighbors. Like I say, rebuilding the village so that we can be amongst one another in safe quarters, so that we don't have to worry about our children being pulled over by these race soldiers, being murdered, where we don't have to worry about being pulled over by these race soldiers being murdered, where our elders don't have to worry about being accosted by these race soldiers, because we will maintain everything within the village. And when the village was fully functional, when the tribes were fully functional, there was not a lot of outside influence, because we didn't outside influence was irrelevant. We were more focused on our collective state of being as opposed to our individual way of living, the way that we think now in 2023. And when I say selfless and not selfish minded, like we got so many of our people preying on the poor, taking from the poor and giving to the rich. Well, within the village, when our neighbor couldn't eat, he could come over our house and eat, free of charge, no strings attached. Just if I'm down and out, I might need to lean on you. And that's what our elders and our ancestors got so right. Their ability to lean on one another, their ability to love their neighbor as they love themselves. And that's deep. We didn't think about outside influence because we were the influence. Let that sink in. Even when we had nothing, we were still the influence. Let that sink in for real. When they called us animals and anything else they could think to call us, we were still influencers. Even as slaves, we were still influencers. And once we were freed and we got out and we were able to build our communities that were self-sustaining and wasn't worried about no outside influence, they were doing big things until hate and the devil burned them down. So we understand from history that whatever we build, we must also be able and willing to protect. And from history, we should know that we had better be ready to defend what we build so that we can truly experience some generational type wealth. Because you think about all those communities that were burnt down and all of those relatives that are still here now that could have been living a much different life had white power not been able to come in and just take the way it was allowed to do systematically. And in the majority of those cases, that land was taken and never returned. So we have got to understand the need to defend what we build. Uh, And we have got to focus more on rebuilding the village. And it's people that are my age who were fortunate enough, I will say, to have uh, grew up through the 70s and the 80s, and really, I'll say, especially in the early 70s, because the system was putting things in place to further break down the structure of the black family and the village and our communities. In the early 70s, the village mentality was still alive and well. I'll say through the 70s. Um, and we definitely, like I say, got to get back to that where we can provide the safe havens that we long for. We beg this system to just leave us alone and let us be, but this system won't do it. The system is in, and this system is not going to give us the means to build our own. That's something that we have to do for ourselves. And that's why I say it's so important that you don't get caught up in these fly by night get rich schemes. And I say this with love to the brothers and sisters who's out here brainwashed thinking that that's you doing nothing but making that corporation that you're under rich. That's the only people that are really getting rich. Yeah, they're giving y'all a good portion or whatnot, possibly, but they're giving you a title. And too often we settle for titles as opposed to things that can really be life changing. And when I say build, I'm talking about a grassroots build where we work together. We ain't pushing nobody else's products. We pushing our product, us. That's what we pushing. We pushing ourselves forward to a better day. Struggle as we may, but once we get on top of that hill, we can coast down the other side. And we can do it without having to make these corporations rich simply just by communing together and starting to socialize. Social media has taken the and made socializing less personable. We need to get back to meeting places, sitting and being amongst one another, being able to shake hands, bump, hug, all of that. Just being able to converse amongst one another in the same rooms and bouncing ideas off our head and not giving these social media platforms the uh, ability to continue to capitalize on our talents, products, and whatnot. When we can reparate ourselves by simply removing ourselves from this culture that we've adapted to and returning to a culture that will truly enrich us and not just financially. The financial part will come once we start doing what we should do collectively, bringing our dollars together to work for us, and then we don't need no outside dollars. We don't have to worry about pushing Mr. Man's product and getting his title, because that title don't mean nothing. Nothing. That's just something they give you to keep you uh hungry for more. I'll say it like that. But we've got to break away from all of these systems and create our own systems within a system that will work and benefit us more wholly, as opposed to, uh, quick fixes that only last a short while. We have got to start thinking about things that we can put in place for ourselves that will have longevity and be beneficial as well. Things that we own and build that we can pass down, and we can police ourselves. And by being within a community around like-minded individuals and rebuilding this village, we can guide our children and teach our children in truth and righteousness, and give them the tools that they need to succeed. And then they won't have to worry about the outside influences that are distracting them in the public schools today, by simply breaking away from what we have adapted to. Because we've adapted to this culture. This culture is not our culture. And we need to truly return to our righteous culture, where, we appreciated nature within the village. We took from the land, but our ancestors also returned and replenished the land so that you could have crops season after season. But now, within this system, they're growing these non-organic products, messing up the soil, driving these gas vehicles and these big plants and all these things that they are capitalizing on, that they're getting rich on, but destroying the earth. And the earth is now talking back. We have saw how the earth is now speaking, how the earth is upset, how the earth is disturbed, how the equilibrium is off, the balance is off. And earth is speaking through weather phenomenons, natural disasters. We got hurricanes, fires, tornadoes year round, pretty much. A lot of unnatural things happening. And we got to pay attention to that and get back to our true culture and get around one another, learn how to commune and enjoy and love and appreciate one another, because we all we got and we all we need, but we gotta bring it together. And like I say, I'm bothered by those of us who are still so eager to participate within a system that's never participated in us. I'm still bothered how we go out and vote. How right now some of us are wondering what Democrat, and I'm just gonna be real. Uh, if we rebuild our villages and our tribes successfully, none of that will truly matter. None of that will truly matter, because we can build our own communities, and then we can police our communities, and then we can build schools, grocery stores, and everything that we need, clinics, hospitals, everything that we need. And then we can start grooming our children to be the doctors, the lawyers, the everything that we need within these communities to keep them functioning. The electricians, the carpenters, all of that. Everything that we need. And right now, we've got everything that we need. We're going to need, I'm transportation. That's what I've done for 23 years old. We're going to need transportation so we can get goods in and out. We're going to have to learn how to be more self-sufficient so that we can truly, like I say, break away from this dirty system that's poisoning the earth as well as the people. With these GMOs, like I say, messing up the soil, making things that were once natural and pure, unnatural and unusable. And that's where the danger lies. See, and we've gotten away from the village. Like in the village, even when I was growing up in the 70s, my great grandparents done a garden every summer. My grandmother done a garden every summer. People garden, and then people shared. Everybody didn't grow the same thing, so people could trade with one another. And then when winter came, people were stocked up with vegetables and all, peas and all that you needed. You had that. People had their own chickens that they, would eat. They would feed them naturally, not all this processed stuff. And I really hope that y'all didn't fall for that 1 cent burger deal. If ever there was a plot, that was one. If ever there was a ploy, that was one. Uh, and ain't no telling what we eating, what that truly was. Everything in this society seems to be a test, and a test of one's integrity, self-consciousness, uh, self-respect. All of the things that are of righteousness are tested daily. And then, like I say, we don't know what we're eating. We have got to get back to where we know, and we are amongst our own. And I'm not trying to sound separatist, but hey, I didn't make the rules in America. America's been playing this game for years. All I'm saying is we need to take advantage and play the game too, so that we can start winning. And the only way that we gonna win is when we winning together. When we winning collectively. We should understand by now that trying to do things individually are not going to work. The only way we can make up the right noise is if we can get enough people, like-minded individuals, to start keeping up the right noise. And it's time for us to rebuild our community so that we can bring all these collective minds together, these intellectual minds together, and truly fight for what we want. And I don't mean just in a physical way. The power is in our numbers, our unity, and that's why they work so hard to keep us divided still today. And the black man and the black woman are so at odds right now that makes me sick. We can't rebuild the village if the king and the queen are not on the same page. The god and the goddess ain't on the same page. We need each other. That's why I say that. Not just man and woman, but collectively. We have all been through something that we can help somebody else get through. We can help somebody else conquer. We can help somebody else defeat. And we do that by rebuilding a village and relearning, unlearning, and relearning our true culture. Learning who we truly are, which is a powerful, resilient people who can conquer many obstacles, have conquered many obstacles over the years, and continue to conquer many obstacles that are placed in front of us still to this day. And we were able to do that by being together, by being a unit. We got more done unified than we did individually. That's one thing our ancestors got right. Like I say, and I'm glad they understood the power of their numbers, their need for one another, and not just their individual needs. We've got to get out of the selfish mind state that we have been placed in, and that's due to this system. That's due to this system and how this system functions, and now how we're just go, 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 go. And then you got people now don't care about the person standing next to them, let alone their communities and the people within them. And see, that's what we're good at. We're a social people, a tribal, communal type people. And we got to get back to having our family get-togethers. We can't let society keep scaring us away from our families like they did when they put that virus out. Like I said the other day, the biggest virus that they've never tried to find a vaccination for has been white supremacy. This system. And this what this system has done to our culture, our history, and by crippling our ability economically by never giving us a fair chance. And that's why I say, damn the system. We can give it to ourselves by simply planning, organizing, unifying. My three keys. Simple as that. Plan it, organize it, unify, and perform it. Bring it into existence. And we good at bringing things into existence. And there's so much more that we have not tapped into yet. Believe me, there's still more greatness to come from our generations behind us. And that's why we got to grab them now. Grab them while they kids and put the truth in their heads. Give them the unadulterated truth about this system, how this system feels about them, how this system's going to treat them. Teach them about finances. Teach them about group economics and working with their friends, building businesses. That's what we need to do. Like I say, instead of, as opposed to shysting people and taken from the poor, given to the rich. You're supposed to be taken from the rich, given to the poor. But we doing it backwards. Because some of us are so thirsty for title and money and all of this that we will sell our integrity and drag our own people who have nothing already. And like I say, I'm more supportive of a brother who come to me with an idea that leave the system out of it, where we can work it and come up. And then we invest our own money where ain't no middleman, ain't nobody writing me a check. I'm taking the check that's given to me to the bank. I'm paying somebody. Not always cashing the check because I done work. And see, we got to get out of that mindset and get into a business mindset straight up and rebuild our culture. Start creating new history. We good at that. We are and always have been good at that. And it ain't left us. It's still within us. But we gotta bring ourselves together. That is so critical that we bring ourselves together. Rebuild the village. Reconnect with our culture. Teach our kids our culture. Give them that village mentality, that love mentality, love yourself mentality, respect your neighbor mentality, help your brother, your sister mentality. That's what we got to start giving to our young people. And then we've got to start supplying the proper opportunities. We got to put together the black print so that they don't have to rely on this system. We'll be liable for them. And we will give them opportunities within the community. We can do it. We just are not applying ourselves. We haven't applied any pressure to this system. We haven't applied any true pressure to this system. And you can't be scared of what this system's gonna do to you if you speak up, because what this system's gonna do to you, they gonna do it whether you quiet or loud. So why not speak out against what's wrong? Because any way you go, any way it goes, we're going to be suffering just like now. And I just can't keep laying down and saying nothing, hoping that it gets better, hoping that my granddaughter, my great grandchildren don't have to live in no jacked up world like it is now. We got to get involved. Well, I got to get involved. I got to say something. I got to try to help fix this. And some of us, I know some of y'all don't connect with that vibe, that don't have that vibration. You don't have that courage. You don't have that voice, but you can still be helpful in the situation. Participation is needed. We need each other. And that's what's happening. I can't make it no plainer, no clearer. We got to cut ourselves away from this system. Stop participating in a system. Democrat, Republican, what? Two wings, same bird. What do we get from Republicans? Oh, okay. What do we get from Democrats? Okay, that's what I thought. Nothing. That's what we get, silence from Republicans and Democrats. That's why I could give less than a damn about this system as a whole, because this system don't work for the people. This system never has worked for the people. This system is about protecting itself and keeping itself afloat. Right now, another government shutdown looming, and they broke, and they steadily giving money to Ukrainians that ain't never done nothing, that ain't never had an ancestor that got whooped over here. But they giving them land and money right now and letting them sign up for SSI. You don't have to believe me. Check it out. Do the research. Yeah, they're giving them Ukrainians SSI. And I saw people have to dance for 20, 30 years to get they SSI started. But they ain't got no reparations. That's why I say, why do we keep participating in a system that constantly lies to us, spits in our face, slaps us on the left cheek, then we turn the other one and they slap that one too. And then we still say ain't shit Joe is a good president. Enhine Harris is a good vice president. I can't feel it. And she throwing backyard parties for 50 years of hip hop. It's on it's on Roey Martin's page, because he one of them boule gatekeepers, and I don't really mess with Roey Martin either. Uh, he want to be famous, and it ain't about all that. You know, it ain't all about that. It's about the collective thinkers, and those who are not just thinking for what I am going to get, but what are we going to get? Because I'm more concerned about what we can gain as opposed to what I can gain. I could care less. It's not about what you can gain, it's what you can change. You see, some people are out here shucking and jiving and ain't really about their life and ain't concerned about change because they making enough money. They content with their lives. You know, they them Negroes that's up here looking down on everybody else and ain't really concerned about the grassroots issues. I'm just saying. So it's our turn. It's our turn. It's been our turn. What are we waiting on to make the change, to better our condition? You know, like I say, we need each other. Um, the village. Them was some good old days when you could play outside. Ain't nobody driving by shooting. Ain't nobody on the corner selling no drugs and stuff. Not saying that drugs wasn't around, but you didn't have it wasn't all out in the open. The community looked out for community. Like I say, we need each other. We all we got. We all we need. We ain't never needed nobody but us. And that's been proven throughout history. We thrive amongst one another when we're left alone. We thrive. So let's thrive again. It's time that we start reliving some of the past, some of the good days from the past, some of the good days from our culture, from our history, and making some good days for some new history to take place, for some new changes to take place. And I'm just saying, we are stronger together than we are apart. Much stronger. And we don't need to keep participating in no system that is not going to give us any justice anyway. No equality anyway. We can give each other our justice and equality and the peace that we want and beg them to give us. And then they allow the participation of any other racist neo-Nazi that comes along that don't like us to just gun us down. There's never any legislation. Why do we keep participating in this system? And we need to start participating in ourselves. And the quicker that we do this, we can change the condition that we in. And we'll see that we ain't never needed them. All we needed was us and to come together. And to come together and do it. And like I say, when we start doing it, our kids gonna see it, then what they gonna get hungry to do it too. And that's what we need them getting hungry to do. Build, grow, love one another, be there for one another, protect one another, take care of one another, help feed, help heal, help one another. It ain't nothing wrong with black first. It ain't nothing wrong with putting yourself first. In a world that's always put us dead last. And I didn't say America, I said world. That has put us dead last. Just like in the little viral video that's going on now with the little girl over in Ireland. And they're putting medals on these little girls for gymnasts. And then the white woman just skips right over the black woman. Then goes back and gets some more medals for the white girls that she forgot. I'm tired of watching our children have to go through those types of mental things that they really don't understand. They just know that it ain't right. See, and that little girl is going to be one that changes the condition. And it angers me sometimes that we don't take this more serious. There's a spiritual thing happening. And there's a hatred for us that some of us don't seem to understand. And even seeing it played out through social media, we still don't understand the hatred that we have to suffer through. That is always been our plight in this world. And I'm tired. I can't say it no plainer. I'm ready to build a village. I'm ready to unify with my brothers and sisters and do what we need to do so that we can give our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the generations to come a fresh deck of playing cards and they can deal them. and don't have to worry about their hand because they in their own hands. We got to put our destiny in our own hands. Do you understand what I'm saying? We can't continue to allow this system to keep holding our destiny. We got to once in a while, you got to take the reins and put your destiny in your hands and know where you're going and know how to get there and just do it. That's all I got. That's all I got. Because I'm getting fiery. But I love y'all. This is why I do this. I'm passionate about this. This ain't about no likes. This ain't really about, it's about somebody hear me, please. Somebody, let's connect. Somebody, let's unify. Somebody, let's build. Somebody, let's grow. Somebody, let's change the condition. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Like I say, I hope y'all liking the content. Um, that's all I got. I love y'all. Like I say, I love y'all. This is why I do that. I can't love myself if I don't love my brother and my sister. Just can't do it. Don't make sense. You are me and I am you. And that's how I feel about that. We ain't got to be biological. We kinfolk. And I know all skin folk ain't kinfolk, but y'all that are vibing with me know what I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying. And with that being said, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate y'all for liking, subscribing, continue to share, leave a comment. I do check them when they pop in. And I'll be back. This is just what I do, and I'm just getting started. Love y'all. Like I always say in closing, let's plan, let's organize, let's unify because we all have a key right here, right here. I'm out. It's been the big picture. It's your brother Mel. Peace, power, love. I'm out.